This past Saturday, the WBO super featherweight title was on the line as Emmanuel Navaratte took on Oscar Valdez in what I'm referring to as a most bruising affair. The battle was between two Mexican fighters that bring a similar style but fight in a different fashion. Let's talk about it. In a fight that would call to memory classics of days gone by, Chavez versus Ramirez, Barrera versus Morales, Emmanuel Navaratte and Oscar Valdez would come together for their own classic rivalry between top Mexican fighters. And it turned out to be quite an exciting fight, as Navaratte, who is now 38-1 with 31 KOs, was able to turn back the challenge of Valdez to his WBO super featherweight title. The fact that Navaratte showed a bit of vulnerability in his previous fight against Liam Wilson gave way to the impression that Valdez might have an easier go. But I understood that Navaratte took that fight with Wilson a little lighter than someone more compelling like Valdez. The fact that Valdez has faced what I would consider possibly stiffer opposition than Navaratte, but he has not made the proper adjustments for his specific fighting style, that once he came upon a fighter like Navaratte, those adjustments would determine whether or not he could compete at the most solid level with a fighter like Emmanuel Navaratte. So Valdez, who now has a record of 31-2 with 23 KOs, found out the hard way that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is, in this fight, Emmanuel Navaratte mastery of judging distance and controlling distance in real estate was able to use peppering jabs and straight punches right down the pike against Valdez, who loves to wind up with hooking, looping punches. He doesn't get his head off of center line, but he likes to crank the left hook in particular. when you're facing an awkward, unorthodox fighter like Emmanuel, you have to be able to slide over, give angles, turn him, and make certain that he's not planted to get his power shots off. Something that Valdez was not able to do and became a sitting duck for Emmanuel's punches. His jab in particular and uppercuts were extremely effective against Valdez, and Valdez looked tirelessly to land the hook. One, he landed very solidly, but it was more of a slap than an impactful punch. And once Navaratte saw that, he made certain to not put himself in a position to get hit with that again. And so Oscar could not throw the straight punches. If you look at this image that's right on the screen at this very moment, Navaratte's throwing a straight right. Valdez is trying to wind up the left hook. If he had thrown a straight jab, it would have hit Navaratte right in the face. You see what I'm talking about? The shortest distance between 2 points being a straight line. That is what he needed in this instance. Straight punches to the man's face and also to the body. There have been fighters that have been undersized with particular height and reach limitations, but have been able to overcome due to having quality skill sets. The fact that Valdez has tons of heart and is willing to engage, but the limitations, because his particular style, he hasn't improved upon and put himself in a position to face someone who is not just going to be right there in front of him. His timing is good and his ability to counter is pretty good, but he is not versed in the category of punches. There are punches that he does not throw that limit his offensive abilities. And I believe that Navaratte and his camp understood this going into the fight. Therefore, they found it easy to compete against a fighter with those shortcomings. It is said that Navaratte hurt his right hand somewhere between the 3rd and 6th round, and he wasn't able to throw that punch with the power that he wanted to for a good portion of the fight. But if you look at the facial damage that was done to Oscar Valdez, you could see that he was landing with acute accuracy and he was punishing Valdez to the point that Valdez had no answers. Fighters who are not taught defense will run into problems at the highest level of the sport. You may be able to outwill and outgut a lot of perennial contenders and some limited contenders, but you're not going to get over the best of class having those shortcomings. And that's where Valdez ran into trouble against Shakur Stevenson, because there was not a punch that Shakur Stevenson threw that didn't land. It's just that Shakur, at the time that they fought, wasn't pressing to stop Valdez, but Navaratte wanted to do that. It's just that the injury to the hand slowed him up. But toward the end of the fight, the last couple of rounds, he picked it up again and bit down and was trying to go for it. Valdez's eyes, the injured right eye, finally closed right at the end of the fight. By the time they came to the center of the ring for interviews, you could see his eye was completely shut. What's next for Emmanuel Navaratte? The sky's the limit, and there are some big fights out there ahead for him. But I would like to see him again because he is definitely the new drunken master. This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you'd like to see next from Navaratte. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.